Welcome back to another episode of Renk Seeds of Innovation. As always, I'm your host, Max Renk. With June being National Dairy Month, it's a great time to highlight the people behind today's farms and the many moving pieces it takes to keep an operation growing across generations. Today, I'm joined by Mark and Alyssa Johanek from Two Rivers, Wisconsin, a multi-generational family farm balancing both a dairy operation and a long-standing seed dealership. Together, they share what it looks like to grow a business across generations, how responsibilities shift over time, and how they're blending tradition with new technology along the way. From managing cows and crops to working directly with customers, this episode gives a real look at how different parts of an operation come together and what it takes to keep everything moving forward. Let's get into it. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Mark Johanek. We've been farming in this area since about 1900. We've been on this farm. I've also been selling Renk Seed since about 1990.
Just a couple years.
Yeah, just a few years.
And Alyssa?
I'm Alyssa Johanek. I've been involved in the operation ever since I was little. Long time.
And can you tell us a little bit more about what your farm looks like and what you've been doing since 1900?
Okay. Well, we run about a 500 cow milking dairy herd here. We run about 2,000 acres of land, and we do some custom operations here. So it's employees of a lot of family members. We've got my brother involved in the mechanics in field operations, and I take care of the seed and a lot of the cattle work. And then I got my two daughters involved too, Alyssa and Ariel. My younger daughter's involved with the calf raising and custom calf raising, and Alyssa takes care of the herd.
And Alyssa, where do you fit in this operation, and has it always looked that same way for you?
Over the years, my role has definitely grown. I've taken over more responsibilities in the herd work, but I've also taken in more responsibilities on the cropping end of things. Like I do all of our own spraying, I do all our chopping, some other field work along the way, but it's all stuff that we used to hire done, and now we do it ourselves.
Can you give us a little bit more history behind the Johanek farm here?
I think I'm the fifth generation. Alyssa will be the sixth. It's been passed down mainly on the women's side of the family. It's because it was a Fritz farm, and then it was a Dea farm, and then came into the Johanek farm, and now Alyssa and Ariel would be the next generation. And so that's kind of a unique thing. It wasn't usually passed on the guy's side. My dad would have been the first man on the farm that would have actually been passed on to him.
Yeah, that is not something you hear every day. And then how has it changed? Have you always been a dairy since 1900?
Yeah, we've always been dairy. This is heavy dairy country up in here.
Our farm actually used to be located a couple miles down the road, and then our ancestors moved up here.
And then how long have you been a dealer for Renk now? And then Mark, did you start the dealership for Renk?
Well, I didn't. I took it over from one of the neighbors down the road here. He had it for 2 years, and then he got into a town chairman position and said he didn't want both of them. And he took it over from Hank Lehrman, which had it for like ever up in this area. He had it many years. I remember a little kid when he'd come around selling seed. My parents been buying seed since they figure probably the late 30s, early 40s, been buying Renk Seeds.
And even I sometimes forget how long Renk Seed's been selling seed. And I know that was well before it was even called Renk Seed.
Yeah.
And then, Alyssa, correct me if I'm wrong, but you also are pretty heavily involved in the seed dealership of portion, correct?
Yeah. Over the last couple of years, I've kind of worked my way into dealing. First, it started out with just moving pallets and bags around. And then I got more involved with the test plot, and then working more with the customers, and now we're here.
The best part of working with family is also the worst part, which is working with your family, right?
Yeah.
How has building responsibility for Alyssa and Ariel felt from and looked from your side?
Well, they've been always helping with the farm. So as over the years, they've just been taking a little bit more. Once they graduated from high school and went on to college, took tech classes in agribusiness and that. So, and then we just started slowly. They wanted to come back in and stay in it. So we made positions for them. And like Alyssa was easy to get involved because she was more into like the machinery. But then when Ariel started, my younger daughter, we started custom raising our own calves now because we had that hired done. Figured that was a way of getting her involved, and she likes working with animals and does a good job with it.
What brought you back to the farm? Because I know it's not always a choice sometimes for many kids, but for clearly in this situation it is.
I've had a strong passion for it ever since I was little. I never wanted to be in the house. I always wanted to be in the barn. So I've been with Dad the whole way along the way for the most part. It felt like a smooth transition. It's a lifestyle, essentially. It's
Yeah, I milk cows with them on my back.
And now, as it's evolved, because clearly, Mark, when you started farming here as a young adult, this is not what the farm looked like at that time.
No, we started with 50 cows when I was younger. I can still remember milking 50 cows. And grew up to 80 slowly. And then in 2000, we actually sold out for 1 year, and I was going to get into custom heifer raising because that was going to be a big thing. And actually realizing after a while that it was tough to make money in it because there was such competition in it that you couldn't come out. And I had a lot of young stock I owned myself, so we started milking again in 2001. That's what the transition was. And like I told my wife, we were going to milk 80 cows. I just didn't say how many was number in front of it.
Sometimes walking back through time here really shows how it's changed.
Yeah, well, when we first started out with a stanchion barn, we had it, and the problem was our stanchions were designed for the cows that we had. Cattle got bigger, and they got a lot bigger in the last couple of years. It wasn't working. I knew we had to do some things. Eventually, one thing, we put a freestall barn up and started slowly going. We put a parlor in and started milking that way. And then there was a challenge we had with labor. Staying smaller was very hard. You could not get labor to come and milk 2-3 hours a day and then come back again in 12 hours. We just could not hold labor doing that. So that's why we grew up from that, and we're able to get labor now. Now a milking shift will take 8 to 10 hours, and it's much easier to hold labor with that because people want an 8 or 10 hour shift.
And what did that land-based building look like as well?
When I first started, there was a lot of land available. The problem was you couldn't grow nothing and make any money on it. And I've kicked myself in the butt over the years too that, well, why didn't I buy this chunk of land and that either over the years? But you could financially grow anything and make money on it, and there wasn't a lot of money in farming in the 80s to begin with. So I did miss out a chance of land that right now I pay 10 times as much for that same chunk of ground. But interest rates were higher then too, and you couldn't afford to buy it and make anything on it.
On top of that, you said you'd hired out several things along the way. What have you brought back into your operation, especially now with Alyssa and Ariel helping around?
Well, one of with Ariel was the calf raising, because we did have that hired done for many years. And then Alyssa was more with like the custom spraying and fertilizer applications. We had that always hired done because we just didn't have the manpower, and I didn't have enough technology to know how to do that stuff. It kind of was the next generation to bring that in and bring the technology into the farming equipment too.
And how do you think your role has brought bringing that technology to the farm here?
My role, not only do we bring in GPS since I've come back, but we've also put in like an activity system in the cows. So all the cows actually have a small bolus in them, and it measures their temperature, their movement, how much they're eating. It keeps track of everything. We're able to catch sick cows a lot quicker and make management choices off of it.
Actually, I really want to attack that. You said it's a small what?
It's a small bolus, probably about maybe 3-4 inches and about 1 inch in diameter, and it actually goes, and that pill sits in their stomach, in their reticulum, and it monitors all that little bit of movements. It just little movements. It picks up
Temperature, water consumption, all that.
Oh, really?
if a cow's in heat.
Okay.
Yep.
That directly impacts your heifer raising.
Oh, yeah.
Correct? Because like now, especially within heat,
Yep.
you can make sure that the mom's healthy.
Sure. We could tell if there's a problem. Got to be calving prior to it.
I can tell when the cows are going to calve.
Even though you never get rid of the running around in the dairy. Now at least you know which way you're running sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
It still takes a lot of visual too, but it's just in our tool and toolbox.
When did you bring that here?
We actually started that maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. It's fairly new, but I mean, it works wonders.
And how do you feel like that's impacted the operation from your side, Mark?
Well, it helps a lot. We're catching things earlier. Overall result is a lot quicker. Reproduction is better on the cattle. No, it's really helped the operation. It was a big expense at first, but once we got going, it was a very good investment.
The bolus is one thing to say. What is the actual tool it builds into?
Well, the system is called Semax Tech. It's an activity system for the cows. So it takes a little bolus like that. It goes in the cow's stomach, and then there's different readouts. It reads the information out of those pills a couple times a minute. And then it sends all that information to an app on my phone. Everybody has access to it on the farm. So, I mean, it's not just me that has it. It's Dad, Ariel, Glenn. Everybody can get access to it. Big thing is for the breeding. It's super important there.
I'm going to show my lack of knowledge here and inexperience. But generally, how long do you have a cow milking?
Well, count by 5-6 years, they probably can 5-6 lactations. And this is helping to get more lactations out of cattle. If they do come down a problem, we can nip it quicker and find out what's wrong, and before a cow would get really sick, which could be a potential to take years off of her life.
Oh, absolutely.
So that is our goal to try and, because the replacement's very expensive.
Yeah, besides it letting you get ahead of everything, it's really protecting your investment along the way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see how many more lactations, if you can find out down the road, you can possibly get out of these with this now semantics. And then the other thing, again, this is from someone who spends a lot of time working with row crops, but GPS as well, right?
Yep.
So when did you bring that here?
We started with GPS about 4 years ago. I got it in my sprayer first. That was when I first got the sprayer. From there, it progressed. We put it on the planters and the grain drill and fertilizer spreaders, and it just gets used periodically throughout the year.
Yeah.
And are you using the same field maps you've used sharing across your equipment?
Yeah, we have egg leader in our stuff. Yeah, I think we have 4 monitors. We just switch them between tractors as we need them. So,
And then how is that different from how you used to do things,
Well,
Mark?
everything was manual. You got to pay attention. Now the bad part is you get involved in other things when you're doing something. You got to remember. I think it helps on fatigue though too. Like some years you got a hard telling where you're going, and I notice now, like when we do a lot of planting, winter weed in the fall, I do that, and I can run a lot more hours because you're just not tired trying to see where you're going.
Oh, absolutely.
It can be very hard at times and you want to do a good job, so you don't want to screw up. I like it. I think it's a very good way of going. So.
There's something that I always thought was that, again, I don't know any better. I've only planted my one field manually, and that's because I had to. But you looking back on it, you're right. It saves you a lot of fatigue and really lets you focus on other things, which sometimes you're right.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you get into trouble.
Trouble, yeah. Some in trouble too, you know. So. At the end of the fields here.
but it also saves you on your input costs. You're using a little bit less seed, less chemical, less fertilizer. I mean, everything's all more accurate, and it keeps track of everything, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to, and this is more directed towards you, Alyssa, because you spend a lot of time working with your peers, and in this case, your sister, right? What's it like working with your sister and how you're dividing some of the extra responsibilities you're taking on?
Oh, that's a challenging one. There's certain things she's really good at, and there's certain things I'm really good at, and we use our strengths to our advantages. I do a lot more with the machinery and the cows, and she's got a lot more focus and stuff on the calves. Well, she's got a lot more patience for calves, which is something I do not have, but vice versa. She doesn't really care for sitting in machinery, so that's something I take care of.
One of a more personal question I have for you guys is, why did you choose to stick with farming and the seed dealership? Because this is one of those things where we know that every year, and especially when you start looking across generations, it really becomes a big choice of how this operation is going to go. And I know that there's a lot of legacy built in there, but why you chose to stick with both being a dairy and dealing seed?
Well, the dairy, it keeps us pretty busy. The nice part about selling seed is it gives you another little option. You can go visit people, get a reason to go out there. We do a lot of like combine surfing, and when people are planting, we'll go and visit them, take them lunch. It just breaks up your day a little bit sometimes. Sure, maybe sometimes too much, but because when it comes to planting season, we're busy, and there's people coming for seed too, and it's just something we enjoy doing. And working with Renk has been a great company to work with. We get a problem, and you just give them a call, and you can talk to anybody there, president or anybody, Jeff, anybody. You can get answers right away. That's what I like.
It might not always be the answer you like, though, right?
Yeah. No, but they'll steer you in the right direction. If they don't know, they will get you going in the right direction. A lot of the customers really enjoy that. They like seeing, hey, this is somebody important, not just a field rep.
And even a lot of the Renk family know our customers personally, which is awesome because they always come to all of our field days and everything. And it's great to see that communication.
We know that the dairy industry is challenging, right? It's something that, as everyone born and raised in Wisconsin here, really enjoys and appreciates. But how have you kept yourself relevant? Because going from 50 head to 500 is a very different number.
Yeah. It was a lot. Nowadays, I work actually considered a small farm in this area right now, but it
Slowly grew.
Yeah, we slowly grew over the years. We never did a big expansion. We've kind of grew within ourselves, and you have a couple extra heifers. Well, we added a piece on the barn, which we kind of boxed ourselves in now. Eventually, now the next step would be to either go new setup, which we're looking into right now, either maybe going with another parlor or possibly going robotic dairy, which is to be the thing of the future. And that's going to be up to the next generation if they want to do that. Because I'm pushing about 6-7 years, I would be able to retire. So that's going to be something up to them if they want to do it, Because I don't want to milk cows at 80 years old. I'll help, but I'm not going to be.
So what you're saying, Mark, is you're like, not really my problem.
No.
Great.
I'll be there, but I went through enough problems already in my life. Getting a large land base now, a larger land base, that's there for them now. Now it's just to grow the operation. Now, the dairy part of it, if we probably not getting any bigger, just staying about where we are, just going robotic and improving on it.
You have efficiencies that you build in there.
Yeah.
Alyssa, what are your grand plans, though, going off what Mark is saying here?
Yeah, eventually I want to build a barn here in the future and keep the farm going. I mean, we've made it 6 generations already. I'd like to give my kids that opportunity in the future. I just want to keep going. I love what I do, and I really don't want to change anything.
I'm at the same note because clearly you guys have a piece of or your own version of the recipe of success. What do you think is the next step for dairies going forward? Because as you know, like you faced your litany of challenges throughout your career thus far. And clearly, Alyssa, you and Ariel are going to have a full set of different challenges. What do you think right now that dairies across the Midwest are going to need to really capture to go forward?
Another thing that I think we're going to have to face is the older generation is getting older, so transitioning to the younger generation because most farmers are in their 50s or 60s, and it's got to get transitioned into that younger generation.
Clearly, thus far, you've had a really great transition experience, correct, Alyssa?
Yes.
What has been the best parts of working with your dad here and the gradual handoff that you think need to be shared?
Personally, I think gaining a lot of the knowledge along the way it's not just here, it's your problem now. It's you learn as you go, which is great.
And what do you think, Mark?
A lot of times the next generation does not even have a chance to farm. Sometimes it'll actually miss a generation of ownership. I had a chance. I'd like the next generation to have a chance too.
And I think that's having an attitude is a huge part of what makes a difference, because you did hit the nail on the head. We're seeing a lot of people who it does skip a generation because whether it's dad or mom, that's their operation. They just can't let go. And clearly that's a little bit different here.
Yeah. By the time they retire, the next generation's too old, ready to even own it. So a lot of times the grandchildren, they'll take the next generation over. I'm seeing it. And I'm seeing a lot of that already.
Alyssa, how do you think you're going to capture being involved in the next generation, though? Because as you know, we in the next generation have different priorities of our purchases.
That's a tough one.
It sure is.
No, just slowly getting involved, I think, is super important, and just work your way into it. You don't have to jump off the deep end all at once, and just get involved is my biggest thing.
What does getting involved look like to you?
Well, to see then, I mean, I've been involved with it since I was little. I mean, it first started out as moving bags here and there, delivering to customers, slowly getting involved with the test plots. Like this last year, I did the test plot pretty much by myself with Bob. And you gain the knowledge of what products you like, what products you don't like. And that helps a lot when you're trying to sell to customers, because you can show them the information like this is done really well for X amount of years. And this is the new up and coming one. It's been looking really good. And it's something you got to gain the confidence of your customers as well. I mean, that's not something that just happens overnight. You got to work your way into it.
And then on that, how have you stayed involved in your community, Alyssa, to really capture that next generation already?
I'm in the community a lot. I'm on the fire service. I'm on the ambulance. I take continuing education classes with other farmers. You're just constantly working, talking with any generation of farmers. Staying involved is super important. Go give the neighbor a helping hand. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Building good relationships, I mean, even if they're not buying from you, I think is super important.
I know you've been a very established dealership up here for years, and I think that's what you were talking about, Alyssa, really captures a lot of that, because between you and your dad and your sister, you are a familiar face in the community. You care about the people that you are directly working with every day, which I think goes a long way.
It makes a lot of difference in selling seed, that people know you, trust you, they're around.
Robotic dairies. You brought it up earlier, Mark. What do you mean when you say robotic dairy?
Well, the cows are actually milked by robots, so it's kind of hands-free from people. It's not saying it's 100%, but you will have somebody out there, but not as much labor. It's maybe required a little more technology. Sure. And people are able to do that. And it will allow these cows to get milk more often. These cows that are milking a lot of milk, and they didn't have the choice. When they feel like they want to get milk, you're going to go in there, You can see it coming around. You can see the future of it. It's like years ago, I remember my grandparents saying when they first came up with the milk machine, that's never going to work.
And clearly now it did work.
Yeah, it did work, yeah. You don't see too many people milking by hand anymore.
That's Mark's opinion. What do you think, Alyssa?
I think robots, they're a great tool. I mean, especially for a little bit smaller farms, you're able to do more things on your operation. So the cows can be getting milk, you can be feeding or doing some other task around the farm, and kind of just frees up your workload just a little bit. I mean, you still got to be there in case something goes wrong, and you still got to have really good management skills. So,
well, I think this is the coolest thing that you both have brought up, whether we were talking about GPS with the planters or the time you buy, get bought back, right? It lets you focus on other things while still being present.
Exactly.
And do you think that's always been that way, Mark? Or definitely not?
We're always trying to do stuff to get more efficient, but all we do is make more work. I don't know if that's ever going to help.
Okay, Alyssa, you had mentioned egg life. Can you give us a little bit more information there?
We work 7 days a week, maybe with the dairy, and start early in the morning, do your morning chores. Then typically, if it's field work season, you're going out in the fields during the middle of the day, and then you're coming back and doing chores at night.
Do you think that that's an appeal for people, or do you think that's something that people are afraid of when you're talking about egg life?
Personally, I think it's something people are afraid of. And a lot of people that didn't get raised that way don't understand it. And unfortunately, they'll never get to really experience it.
But how do you think you can bridge that gap? Because I think this is something that's important, right? Because as the United States has grown, less and less people are involved in agriculture, right? How are we bridging that gap for now? We'll call it city folk or the people who aren't raised on a farm.
Personally, giving tours, I think, is something that's super important. I help out at our neighbors. She actually brings a bunch of like kindergarten, first and second graders out to our farm for a day, and they come out and they get to pet all the animals and they're super excited about it. And then we kind of can explain to them, this is where your milk comes from. And I think that's super important. The kids love it. They may not completely understand it, but I mean, at least they're getting involved and seeing.
Our county has a dairy breakfast too, which we've had a breakfast on the farm in 2006. We had it. We hosted. We fed about 3,500 people here at that time. That's to get people to come on the farm too, to see what it's like. It's still hard to get the next generation involved because not too many people like the 7-day-a-week thing. It's harder. It's getting better over the years though, to we're able to take some time off. We're a little bit smaller dairy, which makes it a little bit harder yet to do that, but we can get time off to enjoy half a day here and there. Or if you want to go, you figure out how to do it.
Someone wants to go, you pick up a little bit of work and just everybody chips in. And
Now that you've also had sharing some of this workload, what has labor and how has that evolved?
Labor is still a hard thing to come in dairy. Your average person does not want to milk cows. It's getting hard. Our tractor work we've done, actually our field work is done by a lot of retired help. We have a lot of retired guys that just love doing it.
Can't blame them there.
people say we're hard on our help too because they come and they never leave. They usually die before they stop working, Pats. I mean, it's bad to say, but
I think it's not necessarily that they die before they can leave. I think it's more of the fact that they love being here, right? We see it all the time in our communities, is once you start doing it, even at the worst of times, you can't help but come back and do it again. I think that's the other side of the ag life, though, that when you're not experiencing that, you aren't really appreciating how you can apply that. I took my time to step outside of the agriculture world, and lo and behold, I came walking right on back, and I said, you know what? This is great, and it is something that I think we just as farmers need to do a better job of educating our community.
And I
think it's incredible the way you've built in the breakfast on the farm, because I think that's an awesome tool.
Yeah, and we work every year with that, with the county when they host it.
And that event is always growing too, and there's always something else that we can try and do and try and get involved in anything you can. I mean, a dairy promotion's big in our area because this is all dairy around here.
Hearing from Mark and Alyssa, it's clear that keeping the operation moving forward isn't just about maintaining what's already in place. It's about adapting as things change and making room for the next generation to step in. Their story shows what it looks like day to day, figuring out where each person fits, taking on new responsibilities, and finding ways to bring in new tools without losing what's already working. Whether it's on the dairy side or through the seed dealership, it all comes back to the same thing. The Johanek family is building something that can continue to grow and evolve over time. Thanks to Mark and Alyssa for taking the time to share their story, and thank you for listening and being a part of the conversation. I'm Max Renk, and this has been Renk Seeds of Innovation.
Be sure to hit subscribe for a notification when a new episode drops each month, and follow Renk on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X. This has been the Renk Seeds of Innovation podcast, innovating agriculture one seed at a time.